Hey guys, this is Catherine. I'm back with another video for you guys. So in today's video, I will be talking about my planner and some of my journals that I've used in the first quarter, and also show you guys how my system has evolved a little bit since the start of this year. So the first thing I will be talking about is my Hobonichi cousin, and I will also be showing you guys the markers and pens that I'm using in my Hobonichi cousin, because I do get a lot of questions on that. So I just want to have all the information in one video so that you guys can have that information up front, because I do get the same questions over and over in different videos, and also on my Instagram as well. But first, I would like to thank Skillshare for sponsoring this video. You guys all know how much I've been enjoying Skillshare in the past year, so I was very honored that they reached out to me and offered me this opportunity to work with them. So I would like to present you with a little video showing you the classes I am taking currently, and also the classes I'm really excited to take, and just give you an overview of what Skillshare is about. Skillshare is an online learning community offering thousands of classes on various topics for lifelong learners and creatives. Some of the topics that I am particularly interested in are creative writing, fine art, illustration, and as well as productivity. Now let me show you guys some of the classes that I have taken in the past and really enjoyed, and also new classes that I'm very excited for. I have divided the classes I have saved into 4 different categories: photography, productivity, writing, drawing, and illustration. One of the classes I've really enjoyed in the past is Get Unstuck, Beat Procrastination for Once and for All. As you can see, it's only 48 minutes, but I have learned so much about why I procrastinate and how I can recognize some of the symptoms before I even start to procrastinate. I have gained so many new tools to fight procrastination after taking this class, so I'm very grateful for that. A new class that I'm very excited about is Productivity for Creatives. Build a System That Brings Out Your Best by Thomas Frank, because it covers a topic that I definitely need a lot of help with. Skillshare is curated specifically for learning, so that means you will not have to sit through ads, so you can actually focus on learning wherever your heart takes you. And it's only $10 a month with an annual subscription. But for the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description, you will get a free trial of premium membership so you can explore your creativity. So let's get started with this planner. So first of all, this cover is from the Superior Labor, so you can see the logo right here. I have received so many questions about this cover. This is one of my favorites because it is so durable. Even though it's leather, I just really don't have to be precious with it at all. I've spilled water on it. I don't know. Yeah, water is the only thing I've spilled on it so far. But as you can see, there's no watermark. It's very hard to scratch, but I'm actually quite excited to see how this would age. I do want to see some scratches on it. I think it will be really, really beautiful, especially because it's black. It has this rounded corner, which I don't really know why that is, but I don't mind it. And it's a really nice fit with the Hobonichi cousin, as you can see. There's no snap closure or anything, but I prefer that when I'm using the book at home. When I'm going out, I do prefer to have a snap closure just to protect the pages, but at home it's just so easy to open this up without having to worry about the strap on the side, unlike this one. So this is from Van der Spek, and this is the undyed cover. And as you can see, I already have some marks here. It's a really beautiful cover, but definitely more high maintenance. So let's dive right in. So let's start from here in the front. So this is the yearly overview calendar, and I just sort of pick a color for the month, and I've just been dotting each day as it passes. I'm filming this video on the 17th right now, so that hasn't been dotted yet. But I've been using these Zig, let me see if I can, okay. I've been using the Zig clean color dot markers. This has two ends to it. One side is a fine tip and the other side is this like rounded tip, so that when you use this marker, it creates this circular mark on the paper. So I've been using these markers for color coding in general, just because it's so fast. I don't have to worry about using a sticker and like making it pretty. So that's what I've been doing. And I've just been picking a color, like I said, and just dotting each day. And on this page, you guys probably have seen this so many times, but I am just using this as a page for important dates for 2022, which is next year. And I will just be circling down any sort of important appointments in the future, and I'll just write down what that is up top. So that's how I've been using that. And this page, I am using this as a goals tracker. I have been making my quarterly goal sheets on Excel, and then I just kind of made it look prettier using InDesign and made it exactly the width that I needed to be. So the first quarter was right here, and I just taped it to the first page so that I can open it like this. And I have just, at the beginning of this year, I have created a goal sheet, which is right here. I put a marker on it. I created different categories that I wanted to set goals for, and then I made a different goal. I set a end of the year goal at the end, and I broke that down into quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily goals and tasks. On this page, I basically just take the same categories over here and then just kind of reiterate what the goal for the quarter was. And I was trying to be a little bit more precise, specific, and write down exactly what I'm aiming for that quarter. And underneath the daily and weekly tasks, I just write down what I need to do on a daily basis or weekly basis in order to achieve that goal, just so I can reference this right away as I'm filling this out. My original plan was to have the first quarter open this way and then have the second quarter, which is this page, open this way, but I changed my mind and decided to staple those two pages together so that the second quarter is on top, because when I'm planning out my month and weeks, it's really nice to be able to have this open and see exactly what my goals are when I'm working on these spreads. So these are my weeks and these are my months. So that's really, really helpful for me. And it just makes me kind of focus on what my goals were and not forget them. Because usually my problem is that I will set goals for the year and I will forget about them. So it's helpful for me to see them every time I open my planner. So this has been really, really nice. I set different goals. I changed out the categories a little bit and I added my work categories here, and I set some goals here that I covered up because I didn't want to share everything with you guys, sorry. So this is my first quarter, and I have basically transferred these categories. So actually the categories are from the first quarter, and then I wrote them up top. Some of these are extra, so like I added journaling here. So it changed up a little bit, but mostly it's based on the categories here. And then I just drew a line under where the week ends or ended, so that I can see right away that was a week and how many times I worked on what during that week. And I did color code them based on my main color code, legend. And I do have a legend somewhere here, but oh, here it is. So that's my legend, but I don't need to reference this anymore because I pretty much know them by heart now. So I use the different color codes, the color dots to just color here once I do something during that day, just so that's something fun to look at and then also hold myself accountable. Underneath here, we have a summary section. So that's where I, again, write down the different categories and write down kind of what I accomplished, or if I just check that off. So for example, self-care is just something that I check off and there's no progress or anything. Fitness, I just write how many pounds I lost because that was my goal to begin with. I wanted to lose some weight. And then underneath, I just kind of write, sort of describe what my progress was for some of these categories. And that's how I will be using the second quarter sheet as well. And for the last 2 quarters, I will be doing the same thing where I will be taping the third quarter goals spread right here, and that will open up this way. And then the fourth quarter, I will be stapling on top of it, just like this. So that's how I'm using this page. And for the pens, I'm using this one. This is called the Scribe from Ferris Wheel Press, if you can see that. It's a really, really gorgeous pen. I'm actually one of their sponsored artists, and I do have a code for you if you want to save some money. And I will drop down a link down below in the description box. But it's a ball pen, and you twist this open to start writing. So this is a twist open mechanism. I'm not a ball pen user, but I was actually pretty surprised by this pen. It writes really, really smoothly, and it doesn't really affect my handwriting as much because I don't like using ball pens because I feel like they're too slippery, and my handwriting looks really horrible when I'm using ball pen. But this one is really, really smooth, and it's just such a pleasant writing experience when you're using this on Tomoe River paper especially. It's really smooth, but it's not slippery, so it doesn't affect your handwriting at all. So I really, really love this pen. And this color is the Forget Me Not French Blue, and there are 5 colors available. So please go check out their website. I'll drop down a link down below. I absolutely love this pen. I've been using this strictly for probably like 2 whole months now, because I think I received this mid-February. And it's just, I've been using this every single day ever since I received it. It's just such a beautiful pen. And I also ordered refills from their website recently. So that's available on their website if you're interested. So that's my yearly page. This page is the December of 2020, and I use this section as a routine page where I will reference this every time I set up a new month. I like having this because it's just so nice to be able to have something to copy from when you're opening up a blank new spread. I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about. When you just have a blank spread, it's really hard to think. So by copying down some of these routine items, it just helps to get my brain juice flowing. So that's my routine page. I have monthly bills here. I have monthly goals here again. And up top, I have monthly routine. I broke that down into 4 weeks. And then down here, I have weekly schedule. So the weekly schedule I reference when I'm setting up the weekly spreads. And the monthly, I obviously reference when I'm setting up the months. So let me show you guys the monthly section. At the beginning of this year, I did struggle. Let me go back. I have always struggled with monthly pages because I just tend to forget about them, and I just forget to flip to that page to even reference it, and I tend to just use weekly spreads mostly, or daily. and I did make some adjustments in February, and it helped me to use it more. And as you can see, February I used it much more. In March it's a full page. April is pretty full. So what I did was, the main structure is pretty much the same. So I still have the weeks broken up according to the weeks right here. So I'll write down the week numbers here, and I'll write down the tasks I need to finish during that week, sort of the main tasks. And that's remained the same. But I started using this page as a pre-planner. So at the beginning of each month, I'll just go in and start marking up some of the potential deadlines that I'm setting for myself for both my business and also personal categories and also personal goals. I've been doing that, and I started color coding them because obviously it will get lost because there's just like so much going on. And I just start out by writing down whatever that comes to mind, and then I color code them afterwards. So if I were looking for something specifically, I can jump to it right away. And this section I'm still using as a place to just write down important tasks I need to finish that week. And I do differentiate the importance or the priority of the, or should I say category of the task or events by using markers and highlighters. So when it's a deadline that I'm setting for myself, I underline it using the same color as the dot in the front. So for example, here I wrote down that this might be the day I want to release a new collection for that month. So it's tentative. I just underlined it so that I know that's a deadline. And if it's an appointment with another person, then I just highlight it using orange. And for that highlighter, I'm using this Zebra Mogini highlighter. So this is a flexible highlighter, and I like this because it's specifically designed to be a non-smear highlighter. And if you're using a gel pen, such as I don't know if it would work on any gel pen, but I do also use Zebra Sarasa Mark-On gel pen, and that's a super quick drying gel pen. And when I use this highlighter on that gel pen on Tomoe River paper, I can pretty much highlight it right after and it will not smear. So I really like this highlighter. But of course now I'm using my ball pen, so it matters a little bit less. But even then, I think for some reason ball pen still does bloom a little bit when you highlight over it right away. But it's not as bad as gel pens. Anyways, so I use my ball pen here, and I use my highlighter, and I also use the Zig color dot for color coding. Okay, so going back to the highlighting, so I highlight over meetings or some kind of appointments with another person or other parties so that I know that's something that's time sensitive and I cannot easily move it around. And then what else do I have here? So purple is just like a notable event for work related items. So that in the future, like I will come back and say, oh, when did we receive that sample? And I can just quickly glance over the purple parts and know exactly when we received what. Or if I'm looking for a specific event, then I can quickly glance through and then just spot them right away instead of reading through all of them. So that's how I'm using the highlighters, and I am using the blue one to highlight over any kind of personal notable events. And then with each month, you always end up with some boxes for either the previous month or the following month. So I'm using that as a section to write down goals for some of the categories I have mentioned in the front here. So I have a section for reading, fitness, Japanese. I'm studying Japanese right now, and piano right here, so that I can just constantly reference this. And again, it's really nice to have everything. It's really nice to have the goals there for me to look at all the time, because otherwise I just forget about them. And when I forget about them, obviously I will not work on them at all. So that's how I'm using my monthly section. And that's my, so I pretty much don't write in the monthlies unless it's the actual month. I try to just use a post-it note to write down whatever I want to be reminded of during that month without writing it on the actual paper. So that's the monthly section. And then let's go to the weeklies. So when I first started the weeklies this year, I used this as a time blocking kind of scheduling spread. And I quickly realized that that was just not going to work for me, because my days are super hectic and I have no control over when I will have free time to do something. So I often get really frustrated when I'm not able to do the task during that allocated timeline. So I have decided to just ignore the time, the hours, and just write down a running to-do list. And if I can, and I'll just reference it throughout the day, and then whatever I can pick up, I'll pick up. And that's been working out so much better for me. So this is, I was just starting to do it that way. So these are just to-dos. So you can see, and what I do is that I just color code them using, again, the Zig dot marker, so that I can quickly see, okay, that's probably a task I can work on. It's a quick personal thing. Is it a quick phone call that I can make right now? Things like that. So that's how I've been using it, and that's been really successful, much more successful than when it was a timeline, because that was just not working at all. And again, that just applies to my situation right now. It might not be the case in the future, but for now, this is just what's working for me. This is a spread in April. This, as you can see, I'm really using the spread fully. This is so helpful for me with the color coding. And what I also did was I again highlight over it to kind of differentiate the importance and priorities of the tasks. So if it's underlined, that means it has to get done that day because it's a deadline. And if it's orange, then it's a meeting or an appointment with someone else. If it's highlighted yellow, it means I'm using the mile liner here. If it's highlighted yellow, then that means it's a task that's going to take a long time. So if during the day when I'm with my little toddler, who's very active, if I have a few minutes, then I'll just look through it. Instead of looking through everything, I'll skip over the yellow ones because I know those I won't be able to get to, and I'll just focus on the smaller tasks, if that makes sense. And this also just gives me a visual on how busy my day is going to be, because sometimes my to-do list will be really short, but it will be packed with the yellow tasks, and I all know that it's going to be a busy day and I should time manage better. So that was last week. And here is this week. This week is just all about packing orders because I had a new release on Tuesday. So I've just been packing orders every single day. So there's nothing else. So yeah. And the stickers that I'm using here are from the new April collection that I am just super in love with. I love these bells for This is from the reminder series that I just created. Let me see if I can pull out the sticker here. Yeah, it's here. Okay. So this is what the sheets look like. So I have two versions. One of them is just the color version. I have the important sign, and then I have a bell for alarm, and then also an alarm clock for deadlines. I also created them using the April floral pattern, so that's what it is. I absolutely love these. I created these because I really needed something like that on my weekly, so I can visually see which tasks are super time sensitive. So these are my weeklies. And another thing I want to just talk about is that I mentioned before that I struggled with the monthly section because I was just not flipping to it. And I realized that part of the problem is that I just need a bookmarker, and I don't like a bookmarker that's going to fall out of the book, but something more like a tab. So I'm using the Post-it tab from the Post-it brand, and this is like a stiffer Post-it, and I just move it from page to page. I've been using the same one since the beginning of this year. So I put the weekly one on the side, and then on the top I can just quickly flip to the month. So I've actually been flipping back and forth so many times during the day, and that's why I've been using both sections really heavily, because it's just so easy to flip to either section using the tab. So that's my weekly section. I already talked about my main goal spread for this year. And now, so going to the dailies, I did struggle with the dailies a little bit because at the beginning of this year, I was going by the dates. So I would skip through the dates that I didn't need to use the planner, the daily pages, and I would just jump to whatever date I'm at, and I'll just use that page. But that gets a little confusing, because what I was doing was, if I needed more than one page to write on, then I would go back to a previous day when I didn't use it to write on that page, and that just becomes a little bit hectic. So starting from see, like, it just becomes kind of crazy. So what I did start to do was, in April, I decided to just ignore, I'll respect the month, but I will ignore the dates up top. And I basically just use it as a section of, I treat it as a small notebook of 30 pages. And I'll just start from the first page, and I'll just continue on, and I just ignore the date up top. I do pre-decorate these pages, and when I do that, I'm just more encouraged to use these pages when they're decorated. I don't decorate the weekly or monthly, but I do like decorating the daily pages. So that's what I've been doing. It's much nicer, and there's a certain continuity with my notes. So I prefer that over going by the dates. And I've also started using pencil to write in here. This is the pencil that I'm using. This is the Uni Kurutoga 0.5 millimeter. This pencil is so cool because, as you can see, there's a little window here. As you're writing, this automatically rotates the lead so that it sharpens the lead, and when you're writing, you're not dulling one side of the lead continuously, which gets a little bit annoying. So this is just so cool because it's actually mind-blowing, because that's something that I would have never thought of. So on the window, you can see that it will turn 360 degrees as you write, which is just insane. So I've been really enjoying using this, and I've been using like kind of script style because it's just much faster to write, and I actually quite like how that looks. So sometimes I use fountain pens too. So that's how I'm using my daily pages. I think my system right now is just like very super functional for myself, and it's just tailored design for myself, and it's just really working. And I have a top-down flow system, and nothing really goes like nothing really falls through the cracks, I would say. Knock on wood. But it's been able to, this book has been able to kind of keep my crazy life together and sane. Anytime I feel overwhelmed, I'll just go into this planner and sort of plan it out starting from the month. And if I don't know what I'm doing, then I will just go into the dailies and just start writing my thoughts down, whatever comes to mind first. Yeah, so that's how I've been using the dailies. And I'm not a pencil board user, but I've been using this just as a bookmark. And since I've been using pencil sometimes, I don't want the pencil to make marks on the following page. So when I'm using pencil, or if I used pencil in the previous pages, then I'll just put that down there just to protect the pages from smearing or transferring. And I also use this as a what do you call that? Is it like an inbox? No, it's like a place where I'll just put post-its with important information that I need to remember. Like, for example, my husband told me that I can get 50% off Adobe Suite at a certain time, so I just wrote that down so I don't forget it. So just stuff like that. So that's how I'm using my Hobonichi Cousin. And I do have a little slim notebook. This is from Hobonichi Cousin as well, a Hobonichi brand as well. And I just slide it in the back. And in here, I just kind of keep important information that I will be transferring from one year to another. So for example, like passwords or, you know, important dates and such. So that's how I'm using my Hobonichi Cousin. And now let me just quickly talk through my other planners. So my Hobonichi Weeks, like I said, I use this as a pre-planner, project planner for a project that spans across many months. And it's just nice to plan that out, sketch that out on a calendar without worrying about how it looks. So that's how I've been using my Hobonichi Weeks. And I also use this as a brain dump if I'm unable to carry my Hobonichi Cousin because it's so big. And for my journaling, I have a book journal. So this is my reading journal. This cover again is also from the Superior Labor, but I think it's a collaboration with Baumkuchen, and I did buy both these covers from Baumkuchen. They're based in California. I'll drop down a link for them. And this is my book journal with my to be read list made into little tiny book cover stickers. And I've been pretty diligent with my reading. And here, if you saw my previous videos, you saw that I was pretty shocked. My son got a hold of this notebook and drooled over it, basically, and ruined that first page by just tried to cover it up with washi tape. March was pretty terrible because something terrible happened in my family. My father got into an accident, and so that month has just been really devastating and crazy, and I was just really not in the mood to read anything. And usually my readings are very heavy and just they're not light reading, so I didn't feel like reading anything. Here I just write down when I finish a book and kind of just write down like how many days I spent on which book. These pages I'm just using as a place to kind of practice my handwriting and just write down new words I learned or word of the day using different fountain pennings. And back here I just put in the book covers of the books that I have read. This is the turning the page to a new year. That's where I write down my to be read list for that year. I have about 60 titles here, and I just highlighted using a gray zebra mile liner, and I just write down when I finish that book. So I've been using this as a place to write down like my thoughts on the reading that I've done that day, or sometimes it's just like writing down a poem or copying down passages that I really liked. Like I highlight and do all of that here. What else? So again, with this too, I realized that I'm just going to, it's better for me to just treat it as a little slim notebook of 30 pages for each month. That's just going to be more functional for me, and I'll just ignore the date up top. And at the beginning of each month, I was using my freebie calendar, and I just printed it on clear sticker paper and just stuck it on like that. So that's April, this is March, this is February, and this is January. Wait, where? That's January. You can get these calendars by joining my Facebook group or signing up for my newsletter through my website. So I release these monthly before the start of the month, and these come in 5 different sizes. So that's that. So I think I covered everything. Oh, forgot about this. So this is my little tiny journal that I bought for myself, and this is just like a personal journal. I love this thing because it's so tiny. It's a weekly spread. So you have, this is sort of similar to the Hobonichi week spread, where you have a horizontal layout for that week, and on the right it's just blank so that you can write more if you need to. This is really, really small. So this notebook is A6 size, and you can see that this is more of a pocket size. I'm not sure if that's exactly the size, but this is really, really small, and it does have gilded edge, which I love. It is leather covered notebook too. And I really like this paper. I like how creamy it is, and I like the greenish line here. I like everything about it. So I'm really enjoying just writing down things really quickly here. So that's my little journal, and I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like I was just rambling on as usual, but I really enjoy talking about my system with you guys and sharing that with you. If you have any questions for me, please leave a comment down below, or you can just follow me on Instagram and DM me there with any questions, or if you just want to chat about planners, I'm always game for that. So thank you so much for watching, and bye.